Today is the 28th day of our Lenten pilgrimage. But today we are going to discuss about writing a personal psalm. I know we are used to praying and singing words composed by others, like in music and even in praying. What about writing your own psalm? Do you know that all the psalms that we have in the Bible, and especially the book of Psalm, were written by people? Some were songs, and most of them were sung by King David. Feel the presence of God within you and all about you. Feel free of God's love for you. Close your eyes for a while and savor God's enveloping care towards you. After feeling this presence of God's care, God's presence, and inviting God to be part of you, to get into your inner self, now you can open your eyes and spontaneously now complete the sentences below. I want us to complete these sentences so that we can come up with our personal psalm. Lord, I here describe a deep sentiment you feel about God or about Jesus at this particular moment. What kind of a sentiment do you feel? Describe it. For example, you can say, Lord, I feel you are near me, or you are far from me, or a sentiment like, Lord, I know you love me, or anything. It's about you. Don't follow what I'm saying, but just make your own sentiment, your own feeling. Then say, I wonder. This is something that always you have asked and wanted to ask God. Maybe some few things that you don't understand about God. You wonder a few things like His creation. Maybe sometimes you also wonder about His nature, or even about the way He relates to you. Then, another sentence. I hear. Now here, you can ask yourself, what do you hear the Lord telling you? Here you have to listen to some words that God is whispering to you. He can be telling you something about yourself, maybe telling you about Himself, or your relationship with Him. Then another sentence. I see. What do you see the Lord doing in your life? Is there anything that you can see the Lord doing in your life? Are you experiencing God's work in you? Write that as a sentence. Then another sentence. Lord, I. The first line of the psalm is now repeated. You remember the first line of the psalm was about describing a sentiment, a feeling that you have about God. Now repeat that in this sentence. Then the next sentence. I pretend. Here it is something that you actually pretend to do in your life. Maybe you try to pretend to be good. You pretend to be this. Something you try, but you realize that it's more of a pretense. Another sentence. I feel. This sentence is about a feeling that you want to express to the Lord. Now, think about that deep feeling within you, your heart. If you met God today, what will you tell Him about a feeling that you have? Then another sentence. I worry. This is something that really bothers you. Write about something that bothers you day in, day night. Maybe something that bothers you about yourself, about your relationship with God, about the world, about others, or even about about God Himself. Another sentence. I cry. This is something that makes you very sad. There are some moments when we cry. What is that which makes you sometimes worry so much? Be so sad, that you feel like crying before God. Then the next sentence, Lord, if you see, you repeat the first sentence that you started with. Lord, this is about a description. We talked about a sentiment, a deep sentiment you feel about God or about Jesus at this moment. Next, the next sentence is, I understand. This is about something is true in front of the Lord. There are a few things that true about God, His nature or His way of working, right there in that sentence. Next sentence, I know. This is about what something you believe in. There are things that you believe in. You believe in God's existence or His mighty works, or you believe in what you believe in. Next sentence, I dream. Now here is about a dream that you have about maybe something about yourself, a dream you have about your future, a dream you have about your relationship with God, or maybe something you dream about yourself, your family, your people, or the world. The next sentence, I hope. This is actually something that you hope for. It is something that you have always been anticipating, and you know that God will help you to achieve. Have that hope. Write it there as a sentence. Then the last sentence, go to the first sentence. Lord, you remember, that is describing a feeling about that you have about God. Write these sentences. Reread what you have written. Then address it to God with all sincerity and in a deep sense of prayer. Maybe you may need to share with your accountability partner, or even you can share that. Can you also write it well and print it, that it can become a personal psalm? You can put it somewhere where you see in your room or in your workplace, in your office, where at times when you start to pray, you can start with this personal psalm. Or at times when you feel like God has abandoned you, that you can have this personal psalm. Kindly come up with one. And for those who are ready, you can share with many of your friends. Thank you. May God bless you.